Good morning, campers. Welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator. Specifically, welcome back to Jackson Hole Airport. Ooh, there's TBM 950. Wow. All right. Someone's getting out of here in a hurry. We're not. First things first, we need to get this plane turned on. So that goes to full forward. Mixture. What's this thing think best mixture is here? That's 9%. It's always 9% in this airplane for some reason. So we'll just put that to full forward. This plane for some reason it just doesn't like that. All right, so let's get left battery on. Beacon. Left fuel pump. Do I have my... I do not. Alright, fuel is on. Let's open the cowl flaps. While I'm thinking about it, let's make sure our trim is 0. Perfect. Can I hit the go around button? No. Bummer. Alright, fuel flow. Looking decent. Not good enough, apparently. Shove the throttles forward a bit more. Hey, that time it caught. Alright, I'll turn the fuel pump off on that one. Get that alternator on. Oh, it's upset because the pitot heat's off. That's fine, we'll fix that in a minute. Alright, right battery. Right fuel pump. Bring that engine back to about 1,000 RPM. I thought for a second there I had lost that engine as well. It's fine. Why does this seem so quiet? There we go. Don't want cabin heat. I want magneto. There we go. Excellent. Let's get the fuel pump off, please. Okay, so that's both of those running. Alternator. That's 2 good starts. All right, let's get the pitot heat on. That made that alert go away. Avionics on. Prop sync on. Let's see if the... we'll worry about the mixture during the run-up check. I think we are mostly good to go. We've got our flight plan already loaded in. Which it's an interesting one. Today we are, well, okay, not really that interesting one, but today we're flying, that's for later, sorry. Today we are flying from Jackson Hole Airport to Fort Bridger Airport, so we need our departure. Ding. Alright, so we've got a standard departure just to keep us away from all the mountains, so there's a specific radial that we want to fly outbound on the Jackson VOR. And then from there, at about 15,000 feet, direct to Big Piney. And then we'll just leave this plan at Big Piney and we'll go straight to Rock Springs and then to our destination airport, because we're not going that far, so we don't need to follow the whole departure plan. From there, we'll go to Fort Bridger, which has its own VOR, but we're going to be following the Rock Springs VOR to a specific point. And then we'll hop over here to this GPS point and we'll use an RNAV glide slope down to the ground, which is just a GPS-based approach. Hopefully that works. I haven't gotten a GPS approach to work quite right yet in this plane, but there's been a couple patches since the last time I tried it. So first things first, we need to fly outbound on this leg. So we are going to set up our nav radio to 115.4, which is the frequency for the Jackson VOR. 115. Yeah, where is it? There we go. 1154. Transfer. Jackson. Jackson. Alright, so now we need the course. Oh, whoops. I want the course to 192. It's going to take a minute. I don't have a mouse wheel, so this is as good as I can do here. I'm using a touchpad. So I guess technically I could try and scroll, but that wouldn't go well. Alright. 192. Alright, so that's the course that we're going to follow away from the Jackson VOR, and we're going to need a DME for that. DME nav 1, perfect. And let's just go ahead and get a bearing while I'm at it. And actually I want that bearing to be on my next GPS waypoint. And this one just always be on nav 2. I think will be ideal there. And let's see here. Wind would be swell. Okay, just like a perfect crosswind. Great. But only 2 knots, thankfully. I think we're on live weather, but I had to save and reload this flight, so I don't have the option of changing the weather anymore, which is fascinating. Didn't know about that. I don't know if that's a bug or a feature. Is that when you load a flight, you get stuck in whatever weather you had when you saved it. Transponder is going to be on standby. Perfect, and we are at 1200. Yep. Timer. Okay, so we want to set our minimums, which is going to be for our landing later. And that's going to be... This is going to take a while because our minimums are 7,300. I love high altitude airports. Nothing like confusing the heck out of the game when it's like, oh, of course your minimums are going to be like 1,000 something. Nope, 7,300. Halfway there. So local time is 17:03, so we are going to be racing against sunset here, though we do have an instrument landing, so this shouldn't be too hard even if the sun goes down before we get there. Uncontrolled airport as well, so it should be relatively easy to land at. Though Jackson has a tower. So we do get a controlled departure here. And we're going to attempt to do the IFR thing again with air traffic control. So we'll see whether that works or not. 7,300. 7,300. Enter. Big knob left. Small knob right. Perfect. Oh. Well, that would have been easier. I could have just set the radar altimeter. You know what? That's fine. Alright, so we also want our best climb. Or, sorry, our fastest climb. Yeah, there we go. Or our sorry, not fastest climb, but our like best climb out of the airport on there, and our rotate speed on there as well. And we'll leave glide off for now. And we'll just crawl up to there, and we can close that. Okay, let's get some other frequencies set up. Our next VOR is going to be Big Piney 116.5. Oh, I should probably put that on the nav 2. Would make more sense there. 116. Went too far. 5. Transfer. Big Piney. Big Piney. Excellent. Let's go ahead and CDI to VOR2. VOR2. Radial 119 is what we need for that. It's always good to set up as much of the stuff on the ground as possible, because you don't want to be doing it in the air if you don't have to. 119, perfect. All right, so then we want our CDI back to VOR, because we're going to be flying this by the radio beacons as much as possible till our GPS approach. Okay, so let's get the flight director on, and let's set our altitude for 10,000, and we want a vertical speed of let's aim for 2,000, see what happens. No idea if that'll work, but eh. And then we'll just do a nav. Altitude, VNav, nav. Okay, perfect. VOR1. And that looks pretty good to me. Let's go ahead and set up some alternate frequencies on here. After Big Piney, we're going to need Rock Springs 1160. Conveniently, already gone 116. 1160, perfect. And might as well have this one on the Fort Bridger VOR. What was the Fort Bridger VOR? Fort Bridger 1086. 1086. I would normally put our ILS on there, but we're not flying in via ILS. We could do a VOR approach. That does have one, but it's more accurate to do the GPS one, so I think we'll do that. This GPS has quite an accurate approach. So let's tune to ATIS, see if the ATIS is working today. That's a no. Ground. IFR clearance.
Ground Beechcraft, November. Golf 5 8 Lima Echo IFR to Kilo Foxtrot Bravo Romeo ready to copy.
Beechcraft, November. Golf 5 8 Lima Echo is cleared to Kilo Foxtrot Bravo Romeo Airport as filed. Takeoff runway 19er climb and maintain 12,000 feet. Departure frequency is 133.25 squawk 1334.
1334 and 13325. All right, read back.
Beechcraft, November. Golf 5 8 Lima Echo cleared to Kilo Foxtrot Bravo Romeo Airport as filed. Takeoff runway 19er climb and maintain 12,000 feet. Departure on 133.25 squawk 1334.
12,000.
Beechcraft
That's
8
interesting.
Lima Echo readback is correct. Contact ground on ONE 24.55 when ready to taxi.
12455 when ready to taxi. Got it. Okay, we've already got. That's the frequency we're on. Excellent. And let's just switch to COM 2. For departure is going to be 13325. Let's go ahead and prep that. 133. 2-5. Look, it's 15 minutes and we're still not off the ground yet. Again, I've like a pattern with these videos. And transponder. 1334. Code 1334. There we go. Back. And that's still on standby. No, we're on altitude now for some reason. No, we want standby. We're on the ground. Don't turn the transponder on the ground unless you're at a really busy airport where they ask you to do that. Okay, so taxi light. I've got a button for that. Ding. And let's go ahead and get our nav lights on as well. I haven't looked at the light panel in this for a while. Do I have any other outside lights? Landing, strobe, ice, flood panel. Okay, we're good. Alright. That should be most of the frequencies that we need. Let's request our taxi.
Ground Beechcraft, November. Golf 5, 8 Lima Echo with Foxtrot ready to taxi IFR.
Beechcraft November. Golf 58 Lima Echo taxi to and hold short of runway 19er via taxiway Alpha. Contact tower on 118.07 when ready.
11807, hold short 19.
Taxiing hold short runway 19er using taxiway Alpha Beechcraft, 8 Lima Echo.
Oh, I had it. I just clicked one time too many. Come on. 7. Got it. Okay. Feet on pedals. Parking brake. Try really hard not to cut this person in half. Success. Get our butts to the end of the runway. Should be a nice, straightforward flight, I hope. Get to do a little fun with radios. Flying direct to the VORs, and we get to try a GPS approach, which I have yet to get to have be successful in this. So that'll be fun. So yeah, we're going to fly down to Fort Bridger for this one. Then we're going to do another one of those little scenery flights where I just fly around to a couple of cool places that I know in that area. Just, see what we can see with a littler plane. Probably going to... I took the Icon out in Yellowstone. I took the Cessna 152 out here. So I haven't decided yet what plane I'm going to sightsee in down there. Maybe one of the Cubs. One of the Cub variants. Those are always fun. Probably not a Cub. I think I want to take another, a different airplane, something that's not necessarily as skilled at short landings as the Cubs, because we don't need short landing abilities for any of the airports around that area. Okay. Brakes. turn to the right. Go do our run up. Almost directly into the wind. That's close enough. All right, so do. Parking brake. All right, we want 2,000 RPM. Okay, so mixture doesn't appear to do anything in this plane. That's fine. All right. We'll just assume that's altitude correcting, and we'll leave them full forward. Trust that to handle itself. And we'll go ahead and bring the throttles back. Got our autopilot set already. Yeah. All right. Switch to Jackson Tower. That was 11807. Whoops. I was going to use this button to fix it real quick. Hey, look at that. Takeoff clearance, IFR.
Jackson Tower Beechcraft, November. Golf 5, 8 Lima Echo ready for IFR departure runway 19er.
Beechcraft November. Golf 5, 8 Lima Echo cleared for takeoff runway 19er.
Cleared for takeoff runway 19er Beechcraft, November. Golf 5, 8 Lima Echo.
The weather is suspiciously good right now. I think I might be on a preset or something. Alright, so taxi light off, landing lights on, strobe light on, parking brake off. No one else coming? Cool. This runway is not terribly long, but we're going to do a single notch of flaps on this takeoff anyway, just to be on the safe side. It's not a particularly short runway, but it is. It had some notices on the thing that it's like short enough that some planes have trouble stopping. So I'm just going to take that to mean we should maybe use as much lift as we can get. Oh, over the engine a little bit. And release. There's our rotate speed. We're up. Trim for climb. Retract the flaps. Continue climb. Right turn. Let's intercept that VOR. If you see that green line on our...
Beechcraft 8 Lima Echo contact Salt Lake Center on 133.25.
Yep, got it.
Going to 133.25 Beechcraft, 8 Lima Echo.
Okay, we're gonna autopilot on. Autopilot's on. And we're going to switch frequencies here.
Salt Lake Center Beechcraft, November. Golf 5, 8 Lima Echo is climbing through 8,100 feet for 12,000 feet.
Landmark 5869er descend and maintain flight level 280.
That's not me.
Beechcraft November. Golf 58 Lima Echo Salt Lake Center continue to Kickney as planned. Altimeter 29.902.
Yeah, I suspect we have
Landmark 9.246.
obtained some kind of
your assigned altitude. Descend and maintain flight
some kind of
level 330.
generic weather setting.
Beechcraft 8 Lima Echo climb and maintain 15,000 feet.
15,000, aye.
Climb and maintain 15,000 feet. Beechcraft, 8 Lima Echo.
Hit the vertical speed button
Descend
here.
and maintain flight level 330, landmark 9er 246. Descend and maintain flight level 280, landmark 5869er.
Gonna just climb a little less steeply. I'm gonna back off on the RPM a little bit.
7730 descend and maintain flight level 220.
Ooh, there's icing happening.
Descend and maintain flight level 220, landmark 7730.
Woo!
Landmark 7730 contact Salt Lake Center on 128.35.
That was exciting. Ice already.
For landmark 7730.
Alright, so we're gonna get to our altitude well ahead of when we're supposed to. That's perfect. Bring this down to 2,500 RPM. That should be a pretty good climb.
Landmark 9er509er contact Salt Lake Center on 128.35. Landmark
It doesn't seem to have helped at all.
Landmark 9er246, you are 400 feet above your assigned altitude. Descend and maintain flight level 330.
Descend and maintain flight level 330, landmark 9er246.
Nice and chilly up here. Alright, we're gonna shallow out our climb a little bit. Excellent. Excellent, excellent, excellent. It's all going perfectly. Just for reference for where we are, there's the there's Teton Pass down there. So we've already flown past where it took us ages to get yesterday. our first turn will be the point where we started heading back. Effectively.
Landmark 5869er, contact Salt Lake Center on 128.35.
There we go.
Going to ONE 28.35 landmark 5.
All right, let's configure for cruise. We are going to bring the power back. And then bring RPMs back. 15,000, like right at the highest we want to go with this plane. Let's do 2100 actually.
Landmark 9246, you are 400 feet above your assigned altitude. Descend and maintain flight level 330.
Descend and maintain flight level 330 landmark 9246.
Alright, so now that we are at altitude, let's go ahead and just sync up our heading bug with the direction we're heading. Perfect. Let's zoom in just a tiny bit. That was more than a tiny bit. Alright. So we've got the heading bug synced up with... Oh, right, there's a heading bug. There's a heading adjuster on this. Alright, so we've got that synced up actually a little bit. There we go. Don't know why those two don't instantly match right away. It's very suspicious. Now let's go ahead and just switch over to heading hold mode.
Landmark 759er, Niner, traffic is 8 o'clock, 4 miles at flight level 29er, 0 day or TBM 9. Report them in sight.
Alright, so what we did there was,
Flight 9er, have the traffic.
since we're approaching our first waypoint, which is at 27 DME from Jackson.
17 miles northeast of Jackson.
Actually, it appears we're going to get there a little bit sooner.
118.07 when inbound on the approach.
Appears we're going to get there a little sooner than this, than the DME would specify. Not by much, just a little bit. It's like, Kickney's 5 miles and it should be 5.4.
Jackson Tower, generic November 8905 Golf, 17 miles north inbound ILS Yankee runway 19er approach. Generic November 8905 Golf, Jackson Tower. Cleared ILS Yankee runway 19er approach.
Oh, we're still listening to the tower. I just silenced the tower.
Descend and maintain flight level 330. Landmark 2126 traffic is 10 o'clock, 4 miles at flight level 335 day or TBM 9. Report them in sight.
Alright, so now we're switching
Salt
to
Lake Center, landmark 2041 flight level 320.
our new VOR.
2041 Salt Lake Center, continue as planned.
So this is our first waypoint, so I've already switched. I've already switched our course to our new heading.
Traffic is 4 o'clock, 2 miles at flight level 310 day or TBM 9. Report them in sight.
Landmark 9er 246 have the traffic.
I actually think we might be above where this plane's supposed to fly, but hey, it's working, so why not? Just a little hard to breathe up here, I think. I don't know if this plane has oxygen.
Salt Lake Center on 128.35.
12835.
128.35 Beechcraft 8 Lima Echo.
2835. Let's get that switched over to COM 1 again.
Salt Lake Center Beechcraft, November. Golf 5, 8 Lima Echo 15,000 feet. Beechcraft, November. Golf 5, 8 Lima Echo Salt Lake Center. Continue to Bravo Papa India as planned. Altimeter 29.902.
2992. Again, what a coincidence. Yeah, anytime you just get nothing but 29 or 9 or 2 on your altimeters means that you've loaded into some standard.
Landmark 2127 flight level 290.
Landmark 227 Salt Lake Center. Continue as planned. Landmark 4687 contact Salt Lake Center on 133.25. Airbus 506 contact Salt Lake Center on 132.4.
Going to 133.25 landmark 4687. 132.4 Airbus 506.
Alright, so real quick, we're going to switch over to heading mode. Alright, we're in heading mode. Let's...
Salt Lake Center, Airbus November 37506 flight level 260.
OCS, perfect.
November 37506 Salt Lake Center. Continue as planned.
Okay, got that set up already, and we can go back to nav. That's VNav. That's nav? Nav. Okay. Just making sure we've got our next VR swap already planned out. Is a beautiful view up here of central Wyoming. Let's pop outside for a moment. I've still got my landing gear out. Wow. Wow. No wonder we were climbing so slowly. And we've got our cowl flaps still open, so let's go ahead and close those. I think the engines are cool enough. It's like negative 10 degrees outside.
869 descent and maintain 12,000 feet.
And we're above 10,000, so we can turn our landing lights off. And the strobe light, we don't need that. We're in the middle of a flight. Just got to keep an eye out for any clouds. If we start flying towards a cloud, we want to turn our anti-icing on, ideally before we get ice. Especially the surface anti-ice. Oh, that's automatic. If that's automatic, might as well just have it on all the time. See, there's a separate thing for these, which I assume are not automatic, so these you turn on when there's ice. And this one's just automatic, so you just turn it on and it stays on. I think that's the kind where, like, there's the leading edge of the wing has, like, tiny holes in it. And there's, like, a fluid that it slightly excretes to prevent icing. At least that's what a YouTube video I watched about a Cessna 208 told me yesterday. Or this morning. Can't believe we flew that entire distance with our landing gear out. This plane still flies great, even with the landing gear. Explains why we weren't climbing as fast as I expected, though. Alright. Our outbound radial is going to be 124 once we get to BPI. That's still 39.3 miles away.
Salt Lake Center, landmark 8819er, flight level 340.
Landmark 8819er, Salt Lake Center, continue as planned.
How is our manifold pressure looking? Still super low because we're super high. Even though that should have an
Landmark tree.
inverse relationship.
Traffic alert.
Or that should be the opposite relationship,
1
not...
flight level 340 Doha TBM 9. Report them in sight.
No difference on the GPH. I guess the mixture levers on the Baron just don't do anything yet. So let's just put them full forward. Done. Gosh, this terrain up here is so beautiful. I've driven the roads below us a few times. Getting awfully close to that cloud. Let's get the de-icing stuff on.
Landmark Niner 246, you are 400 feet above your assigned altitude. Descend and maintain flight level 330.
Mostly clear of the
Descend and
cloud.
maintain flight level 330, landmark Niner 246.
Excellent. Isn't this landscape absolutely wild? Driving through it, it feels like you're on another planet. It's just, these shapes are so bizarre. F12, that's our screenshot for this flight. Gosh, it's so gorgeous. I love Wyoming. I don't know if I say that enough. I love Wyoming.
Landmark 588, contact Salt Lake Center on ONE 24.35.
Wyoming is without a doubt one of the most beautiful places on the planet.
24.35, landmark 588.
I would actually kind of like to descend, but we're above the clouds here. Mostly. I don't know. How are we on distance? 28 miles?
Salt Lake Center landmark 4934 is at 7,700 feet, climbing 15,000 feet.
How are we on MSAs up here?
Landmark 4903, for Salt Lake Center, continue as planned. Altimeter 29.902.
So anything above 10,000 we should be alright. Yeah, so we're somewhere around here at the moment. So yeah, anything above 10,000 we should be good. Once we're clear of this ridge, which I think we might be already.
246, you are 400 feet above your assigned altitude.
So we could drop down
Flight level 330.
at this point.
Landmark 9509, you are 60 miles north. Descend and maintain 9,300 feet. Expect ILS runway 27 approach via Digny transition. Cleared to Digny.
Digny.
Descend and maintain flight level 330, landmark Niner 246.
Cruising altitude decrease by 3,000 feet, please.
Salt Lake Center, Beechcraft 8 Lima, Echo. Request 12,000 feet. Beechcraft 8 Lima, Echo, descend and maintain 12,000 feet.
Fantastic.
Descend and maintain 12,000 feet. Beechcraft 8 Lima, Echo.
And we're going to do just a vertical speed. Actually, no, we're not going to do vertical speed. We're going to do flight level change and see how well that works. Alright, and just going to back off on the throttle until we start to descend. Whoops. I accidentally clicked a button.
Going to 132.4 landmark 7159er. Landmark 453 for contact Salt Lake Center on ONE 24.35. Beechcraft 8 Lima Echo, please expedite your descent
I
to
am-
12,000 feet.
Goodness, no patience.
Landmark 266 contact Salt Lake Center on 133.25.
It's 1,200 feet per minute. It's not fast enough, really?
Landmark 9er 246, you are 400 feet above your assigned altitude. Descend and maintain flight level 330.
Yeah, I think we're alright from that cloud.
Flight level 330, landmark 9er 246. So the way flight level change works is when you hit flight level change, it locks in whatever speed you're currently cruising at. And then if you decrease the throttle, it'll pitch the plane down to try and hold that speed, so then you'll start descending. But you'll descend at a constant speed, so without accelerating. So that's kind of nifty if you're trying to hold a certain airspeed. Really handy on the Beech King Air, because you don't want to overspeed that. That aircraft is very easy to do. Whereas vertical speed, it attempts to climb at a specific feet per minute.
Descend and maintain flight level 280, landmark 8819er.
Landmark 9er 246 traffic is 9 o'clock 4 miles at flight level 340 $TBM 9. Report them in sight.
I brought my throttle up a little bit too soon there.
246 traffic in sight. Landmark 619er 2 traffic in sight. Landmark 9er 246, you are 400 feet above your assigned altitude.
What is with these planes and not
Descend and
obeying
maintain
their
flight level 330.
air traffic control, even in AI traffic? It's fascinating. Alright, so we're reconfigured for
Descend and
cruise.
maintain flight level 330, landmark 9er 246.
And a little closer to the ground. Exactly where we want to be. We're also approaching clouds, so let's get the anti-icing stuff back on. And while we're at it, let's check our distance. 9.5 miles from our next waypoint. Let us switch into... Now we'll get a little closer, then we'll switch to heading hold. Our next radial is going to be 124.
Traffic alert. 11 o'clock, less than 1 mile, flight level 230 generic.
Wow, they're awfully
Report
close
them in
together.
sight.
Wow, alright.
Salt Lake Center landmark 4534 is out at flight level 310 for flight level 220.
I'd like to zoom this one out, please. No, no, maybe, no. Yeah, come on. Give me something. Alright, fine. I will move my seat. Got it. Okay, so now we're going to switch to heading hold. Our heading's already correct.
Landmark Snyder 246. You are 300 feet above your assigned altitude. Descend and maintain flight level 330.
Alright, we've adjusted our course.
Descend and maintain flight level 330. Landmark Niner 246.
So we're going to overfly the VOR, so you're going to see this line disappear for a moment. And then we'll get the line back, and then once we meet up with the new radial, we will turn nav mode back on and fly along that.
Generic 82 kilo contact Salt Lake Center on ONE 24.35.
You'll see this line gradually creep towards us as we get closer to the actual VR station.
Going to ONE 24.35 generic 82 kilo.
Alright, should be overflying it any moment now. We're 1.6. Alright, so you see the difference between these two numbers? The GPS is giving us a waypoint in the sky. This is giving us distance to the radio beacon, which is on the ground. So we've also got our vertical distance included in this one. Is why those are different. Alright, and as soon as we get that line back, nav mode. Make our turn.
Salt Lake Center, landmark 338 is out of flight level 355 for flight level 350.
Catch the needle. Perfect.
Descend and maintain flight level 250.
Alright, that is Big Piney. Our next waypoint is Rock Springs.
246, you are 300 feet above your assigned altitude. Descend and maintain flight level 330.
Okay, we're going to hold our heading for a moment while we set up Rock Springs. CDI.
Descend and maintain
VR
flight level
one.
330.
Okay, Rock Springs is going to be
landmark
116 in. Nope, that's 115. We need just like a hair more to the right. $116. There we go. So when we intercept this, we'll switch off of VOR2. Whoops. There we go. And let's turn nav back on. We'll check that periodically just to see where we are relative to the inbound radial. I'm sure there's an exact point with a named intersection where you switch over from one radial to the other, but I don't know where that is. So we'll just keep flying this one until we're a little bit closer. We'll try and aim for just like the halfway point between them and see what that looks like. So where these two numbers should be about the same, because this is counting up now from the VOR behind us, and this is counting down to the one in front of us, whereas this is just counting down to our next waypoint. Should be doable. Now we're out over to the more plains bits of Wyoming here, which is why our minimum safe altitude decreased.
Landmark 2241 flight level 280. Landmark 2241 Salt Lake Center. Continue as
I
planned.
think we're all right as far as clouds go at the moment. How's our engine
Landmark
looking?
33,
Yeah.
8 you are 400 feet above your assigned altitude. Descend and maintain flight level 350.
Always 400 feet. Why is it always 400 feet? It's almost like the planes are programmed wrong.
88 traffic is 4 o'clock 3 miles at flight level 330 Dover TBM 9. Report them in sight.
A lot of those out today, apparently.
Landmark 3, 810 you are Niner, 0 miles northwest. Descend and maintain 13,000 feet. Expect ILS runway 27 approach via Digny transition. Cleared to Digny.
Which airport had a Digny transition? And an ILS 27. Is that Yellowstone? Those planes might all be flying into Yellowstone. Yeah, I think Yellowstone had a runway 27, didn't it? And Digny sounds like a waypoint that I've been near recently. So the fact that we did that little ILS tutorial at Yellowstone means that might be the one that's ringing my bell. Ringing some bells in my memory. Alright, let's get the anti-icing back on. Should probably just leave it on, honestly. Not like I'm paying for the fuel. Or replacing the batteries in this plane when they wear out.
Descend and maintain 10,000 feet landmark tree 810.
Doing good still, doing good. Switch to heading hold for a moment.
Landmark 33,
Still west of
above your assigned altitude.
that
Descend
radial.
and maintain flight level 350.
Back to nav mode.
Landmark 3, 810 contact Salt Lake Center on ONE 24.35.
Again, I have an instrument panel mounted to my desk for Farm Simulator, and I've got several buttons on that mapped to different autopilot
Going
commands.
to 124.35 landmark tree 810.
Which is how I'm changing those so easily. And I've also got an autopilot off.
Maintain flight level 350 landmark 338.
I also have an autopilot off button mapped to my joystick. Which I should probably also add yaw damper off to that same button. Because usually that button does the same thing. Deactivates both. But it's not an autopilot on-off button, it's just autopilot
Landmark
off.
1737 traffic is 7 o'clock 4 miles at flight level 290 Dover TBM 9. Report them in sight.
Why are there so many TBM-9s out flying today? It must have just picked that plane for the generic small propeller plane, because I've got generic traffic on to deal with that bug that we were encountering in the Cessna 152, where the mixture bars kept going to full forward. The mixture, I don't know what you call that. The push-pull thing. It's not really a lever when you're pushing it in and pulling it out. Knob? Yeah, let's go with knob. When the mixture knob kept going to full. Oh gosh, we're an hour into this flight already. We're not even we're like halfway there. If that. I can't believe this has been recording for an hour already. Good grief. I need to make shorter flights for these. I always feel like they're too short, and then I get out and actually fly them, and they're all way too long. But we're going so much further than we did with the sightseeing one. These IFR flights are interesting, if nothing else, for the seeing how you navigate by radios and whatnot.
Landmark 338, you are 400 feet above your assigned altitude. Descend and maintain flight level 350.
And, of course, dealing with the air traffic control, which is so much fun. I just wish we had some real-world weather right now. I'm still kind of bummed that it locked us into the weather I had when I loaded in. Yeah, no, I can't even select weather. That's irritating. I have yet to use the travel to option successfully yet.
Salt Lake Center
Sorry,
landmark
Jeffrey.
3810.
Climb the cruise
flight
altitude.
level
We're good.
20 for 9,300 feet.
Fuel and payloads, AI control.
Landmark 3810 Salt Lake Center. Continue to Digny as planned.
Active pause. Jeez, there's a lot of people going to Digny. If that's Yellowstone, the airport's very popular today. If we're navigating to our next GPS waypoint that's not VOR is on Rock Springs Radial 246. It's a GPS waypoint called WEGEM, W-E-G-E-M, which is where we will turn to head for our GPS approach course. We need to be at 10,000 feet before we get to WEGEM. Then we're going to do a brief hold at another waypoint called Sing, S-I-N-G-E, or Singi, where we're going to do a short hold at that location just to set us up for approach, give us time to like set up our descent and whatnot, and catch the glide slope properly.
Echo, you are 59 miles northeast. Maintain present heading and altitude. Expect vectors. Visual runway 22 approach.
Visual.
Landmark 338, you are 400 feet above your assigned altitude. Descend and maintain flight level 350.
I would actually prefer
Stand by Beechcraft 8 Lima, Echo.
RNAV.
Beechcraft 8 Lima, Echo Roger. Descend and maintain flight level 350, landmark 338.
Request approach from controller.
Beechcraft 8 Lima Echo would like RNAV runway 22 approach medium transition.
I wonder why they gave me a different approach than the one I just had set up in my
Beechcraft, 8 Lima Echo would like RNAV runway 22 approach medium transition.
It's nice, fully functional air traffic control. Why is it blinking in and out? I don't understand. Alright, well, we'll acknowledge our assigned approach.
Maintain present heading and altitude. Expect vectors. Visual runway 22 approach. Beechcraft 8 Lima Echo.
How odd.
Beechcraft 8 Lima Echo would like RNAV runway 22 approach medium transition.
Salt Lake Center landmark 8788 is at flight level 335, descending flight level 330.
Flight plan.
Landmark 376 Street Airport is ONE 2 miles at your 10 o'clock. Maintain present heading and altitude. Report runway in sight. Landmark 8788 Salt Lake Center, continuous land. Landmark 338, you are 400 feet above your assigned altitude. Descend and maintain flight level 350.
Do I have all of the... Okay, yeah, we've got the approach. Weird. Okay, so apparently switching approaches is not something that the game is able to do at the moment. That's so bizarre. But yeah, we've got it programmed in already. I don't know what the issue there is. And our next waypoint is, in fact, OCS, yeah? Yeah, we're good. Don't know what's going on there. Let's switch that heading mode real quick. Just check our... Interesting. Oh, sorry, 116 is the, 116 is the frequency. What is wrong with me? I need that to go away. I need 128. 128. Hey, perfect. Let's just nav on that. Nav. Easy plane, easy.
Landmark 338, you are 400 feet above your assigned altitude. Descend and maintain flight level 350.
Alright, now we are inbound to the Rock Springs VOR, which means we can also now
Descend and maintain flight level 350, landmark 338.
tune in Fort Bridger.
Landmark 8788, you are 400 feet above your assigned altitude.
So we know Fort Bridger's that way.
Flight level 330.
And we know how far away we are from Fort Bridger, which that VOR is not on the field, I don't think. So it's not a terribly accurate distance to like the field, but it's a useful thing to know. So the reason we're flying to we're staying on an airway, a Victor airway, rather than going direct to the airport just because we can. Flying the airway seems like a more interesting thing than just, you know, throwing in a direct course to the destination in the flight sim, in my opinion.
Landmark 2NE27 contact Salt Lake Center on ONE 24.35. Landmark Landmark Niner, 292 climb, and maintain flight level 300.
Still good on fuel.
Landmark 2127.
Airbus 437 traffic is 1 o'clock 4 miles at flight level 330 $TBM 9. Report them in sight.
"26 miles from our next turn." And still got at least one cloud on what appears to be our course. So I think I still have the anti-icing on. Yeah. Yes.
Landmark Flight 517 contact Salt Lake Center on LNE 24.3 flight.
Pretty sure this is US 191 here. Oh, not entirely sure. Think?
124.35 for Airbus 437.
I'm pretty sure I've driven this road, whichever it is, because I remember driving right alongside this ridge for ages. Kind of like that angle. Gonna hold on to that and pop back into the plane. But yeah, the other reason we're actually flying all the way to Rock Springs before we make the turn is this just sets us up better for the final approach course. Because, you know, we actually start at the proper location. We can also do the that first waypoint as the beginning of the approach, so just like show up for that at the right altitude and fly it straight in. But where's the fun in that? Transitions are interesting, right? Also, I appreciate that there has been no contact from the controller since we requested the other approach.
Landmark Niner, 29er, to your 300 feet above your assigned altitude. Descend and maintain flight level 300.
Very strange. Very strange indeed.
Landmark 8788, you are 300 feet above your assigned altitude. Descend and maintain flight level 330.
Gosh, I hope I have enough space on this computer for all the recording I'm doing. I was expecting this flight to be so long.
Flight level 300, landmark 9er, 2902.
Having so much of my main hard drive taken up by Flight Simulator because it doesn't play well off of an external hard drive means I've got relatively little space for recording, because that also has to be done to the internal hard drive. And my internal hard drive is only 250 gigs. So we're a little tight on space because Flight Simulator's over 100 of that. So multi-hour recordings are not ideal. I am hopeful that we will be okay. How far are we? 15 miles. So as we get closer, we'll pop into heading hold again and keep the heading bug aimed at the radio beacon. And then since it's a relatively sharp angle, we'll start the turn a little bit before we get there. and just try to pick up the new course once we're within a couple miles. The outbound course being radial 246. I guess we'll just get rid of that for now.
Beechcraft 8 Lima, Echo UR5, 9er miles east. Maintain present heading and altitude. Expect RNAV runway 22 approach via Weejum transition. Cleared to Weejum.
Yay! We actually
Maintain
got the
present
approach we
heading and
requested.
altitude. Expect RNAV runway 22 approach via Weejum transition. Cleared to Weejum Beechcraft 8 Lima Echo.
Cleared to Weejum.
Landmark 29er to your 300 feet above your assigned altitude. Descend and maintain flight level 300.
Alright, so at some point... Oh,
Beechcraft 8 Lima Echo traffic is 6 o'clock 4 miles at 9,900 feet RTBM 9.
oh, they're close.
Report them in sight.
It's directly behind me. How am I supposed to see that? There he is.
Landmark 3810 traffic is 1 o'clock 4 miles at 12,000 feet Beechcraft 858. Report them in sight. Beechcraft 8 Lima Echo have the traffic.
That's the first time I've actually gotten a traffic advisory.
You are 300 feet above your assigned altitude.
Neat.
Descend and maintain 9,300 feet altimeter 29.92.
Alright, so we are pretty close now. Let's switch ourselves onto heading hold mode.
Maintain 9,300 feet landmark.
Heading 131, thank you. Heading mode
Landmark
And then we want
3810
course.
traffic in sight.
is going to turn to 246. I passed it. I reset it. If you accidentally click in the center of the button, it just aims directly at the radio beacon. It's very annoying. Got it. Okay, so when this switches to our next waypoint, we will snap to the, we'll tap the nav button and switch to our next radial. And hopefully that will go perfectly. We shall see. Damn, that thing is fast. Look at him just zipping past us like it's nothing. There's a very tiny little light you can see down here. That's the other plane that we were just warned about. Which is a good reason to be talking to air traffic control, because I probably wouldn't have noticed that guy had they not told me, because he came up from behind us. So again, we are flying over the Rock Springs Airport. We are waiting for this to snap to our next waypoint. And we will pop ourselves onto our new course.
Landmark tree 810, you are 400 feet above your assigned altitude. Descend and maintain 9,300 feet altimeter.
We're going to go ahead and start the new course now. Just because we're going to overshoot the radial at this point. Most likely. Just because we're so close. But we'll at least get close enough to trigger the GPS waypoint, I think. What's that? Oh, that's the marker for the airport we're flying over.
Landmark tree 810, you are 7 miles northeast of Kilo Romeo, Kilo Sierra.
And overshot the radial. Also, flight plan did not
3810.
register apparently that we got to there already, so let's bring up the flight plan here and toggle that. And let's see. We are now en route to Wyoming, and we want to activate this leg. There we go. And we can close the flight plan.
Flight level 190 landmark 4093.
There we go. That did it. So that's how you skip the waypoint if it doesn't trigger when you're using like radio navigation or something. Alright, so now we are flying directly towards our next waypoint via this radio beacon, and we are going to need to switch to GPS. So in order to switch to GPS, we are going to bring our heading bug up. Just get that perfectly centered on our current heading. And we're going to wait till we're a little bit closer to Wyoming. Just because it should be on this VOR radial anyway. And I'm hoping that air traffic control will at some point clear us down to 10,000. Whoops, one step too far. No? Can I not? There we go. Got it.
093, please expedite your descent to flight level 190. Beechcraft 8 Lima Echo descent.
There we go.
And maintain 10,000 feet.
So we are going to do a flight level change. I don't have a button for flight level change. Wow. I should probably fix that. Alright, so back off on the throttle.
Beechcraft 8 Lima Echo,
Oh,
please
sorry.
acknowledge.
Sorry.
Descent and maintain 10,000 feet. Beechcraft 8 Lima Echo.
I said it out loud instead of saying it in the game.
Beechcraft 8 Lima Echo, contact Salt Lake Center on ONE 24.35.
12435.
Going to ONE 24.35 Beechcraft 8 Lima Echo.
Salt Lake Center landmark 273.
Weird, I
flight
can't-
level 310.
Landmark 273.
Got the same bug from the other day where I can't change the
8 Lima Echo is out of 11,700
small numbers.
feet for 10,000 feet.
Okay, flight level changes.
Beechcraft November.
Super buggy.
Golf 5 8 Lima Echo Salt Lake Center. Continue to Wyoming as planned. Altimeter 29.902.
Alright, we'll just allow it to accelerate the plane as we approach Wyoming. That's fine. We're just setting it only 500 feet per second because we are 32 nautical miles away. And we're flying at 174 knots, so we should be down.
Salt
We only
Lake
need 2
Center,
minutes and we'll be
landmark
there.
337 is climbing through flight level
Well before that, I
320
think.
for Flight level 340. Beechcraft 8 Lima Echo, please expedite your descent to 10,000 feet.
Yeah, shush. I'll be there soon.
Landmark 240 your 200 feet above your assigned altitude.
I feel like 500 feet per second is a pretty reasonable descent rate.
Landmark 5337 Salt Lake Center.
500 feet per minute.
Continue as planned.
I mean, right?
Landmark Niner to your 300 feet above your assigned altitude.
Alright,
Descend and
anyway,
maintain flight level 300.
let's bring up our timer and
Generic
references.
South to contact Salt Lake Center on ONE 27.7. Descend and maintain flight level 300 landmark Niner 292. Landmark Niner 200 descend and maintain flight level 250.
This thing is really finicky.
Beechcraft, 8 Lima Echo, please expedite your descent to 10,000 feet.
Hush, you.
Descend and maintain flight level 250, landmark 9er 200.
Okay, ready to use that. And we are at 10,000. Okay. We are going to briefly switch into heading mode. Ding. Alright, that's heading mode. And we're going to switch the CDI over to GPS. And then we're going to activate nav.
5337, you are 400 feet above your assigned altitude. Descend and maintain flight level 340. Descend and maintain flight level 340, landmark 2405. Descend and maintain flight level 340, landmark 5337.
Alright, yeah, I do want that. Back. ADF DME. I would like the DME to be on nav 2. There we go, so that's
Landmark 9er, 29er,
FBR.
400 feet above your assigned altitude. Descend and maintain flight level 300.
There we go. Alright.
Descend and maintain flight level 300, landmark 9er, 292.
Flying directly into a cloud into the sun. Just the way you want to go.
5517 traffic is 9 o'clock, 4 miles at flight level 340, $TBM 9. Report them in sight.
A little bit of ice on the plane from that.
Landmark 5337 traffic is 10 o'clock, 3 miles at flight level 350, $TBM 9. Report them in sight.
Landmark 5517 have the traffic.
Just out here making my new ice collecting hobby. Hope we don't go through too many of those on the route in here. Okay, proc.
Landmark 5337, you are 400 feet above your assigned altitude. Descend and maintain flight level 340. Airbus 61 Whiskey contact Salt Lake Center on ONE 27.7.
It's a little annoying that you can't. It doesn't have missed approaches in
Flight level 340, landmark
in that.
5337. 127.7 for Airbus 61 Whiskey.
Alright, so let's just do a quick check before we get there. Let's zoom in a bit on this, just to
Landmark
get our
9er,
approach.
29er, you are 400 feet above your assigned altitude. Descend and maintain flight level 300. Landmark 9er 200 contact.
So
Salt
we
Lake
are going to
Center
fly-
on ONE 28.35.
Oh, we don't have it up. I should have that up before we get there.
128.35 for landmark 9er
There we
200.
Okay, so this is the approach we're going to fly. We're heading forward toward Wiegum. Then we're going to fly over to
Level 300, landmark 9er 292.
the beginning point, which is Sing, and then we are going to, we're supposed to do this turn, I think. I'm not sure if that's set up for flying in from one of the other, if that's your initial approach fix. I think that's set up to get you on that, but since we're flying in from Wegum, I think we can just skip that, and that appears to be how it's programmed into my GPS. So we'll just fly into Wegum and then start our descent towards the ground at a 3-degree glide slope, 3-degree glide slope at a heading of 224, hopefully. So the thing we need to watch out for is we want to make sure we're at 8,700 by the time we get to Lissair.
Salt Lake Center landmark 6838, flight level 340.
All right.
Landmark 6838, Salt Lake Center, continue as planned. Landmark 5337, you are 300 feet above your assigned altitude. Descend and maintain flight level 340. Descend and maintain flight level 340, landmark 5337. Landmark 9er 2 contact Salt Lake Center on LNE 27.7. Salt Lake Center landmark 8024, flight level 320.
Still covered in ice. Are we still good on that?
Going to LNE 27.7 landmark.
Both these are in op, right?
9er 2.
Yeah. That's just a light on the wing, so I don't need that. We are under 10. Are we at 10,000? So I might as well put the landing lights on now. At the very least, get them warmed up so they can melt whatever ice is on them. All right, hopefully this is the last cloud we're going to be flying through for a bit. We're going to leave the anti-icing on for a while, though, because we are covered in ice. So our approach speed is going to be 105. I think we can go a little bit slower if we have the flaps at full. Yeah, I think we're going to try and fly that hold anyway, just to get ourselves set up better for the approach. That way we've got that minute flying back towards the glide slope. Alright, so the hold is... That's our missed approach. The hold is 44 and 224. Let's go ahead and set that up on the heading bug.
Landmark 5337, you are 400 feet above your assigned altitude. Descend and maintain flight level 340.
Kind of glad we're doing IFR here. There's a lot of little clouds scattered around in just the wrong places. Gorgeous though, isn't it? I-80 should be out here somewhere to our right. Not sure exactly where. So we will definitely cross I-80 after we pass the Wyoming waypoint. All right, coming up on Wyoming. There's Wyoming. We've got glide slope information coming in. I think that might be our airport down there. Not sure. It's in the right direction to be the airport. But we should be flying over I-80 at the moment. Yep, there it is. Lovely ribbon of highway stretching across Wyoming. I've spent many a night here. There's a area over here where you can just park, and it's got a free it's got a free scale that you can use to check your axles. Wrong button. There we go.
Landmark 5337, you are 400 feet above your assigned altitude. Descend and maintain flight level 340. Descend and maintain flight level 340, landmark 5337.
Haven't gotten anything else from our controller yet. Okay, that's a river. Is that reflective thing we're seeing off to the left. Like you do. So we don't have the airport in sight yet. It's an important note.
Salt Lake Center, generic November 8905 Golf, 17,000 feet.
Generic November 8905 Golf, Salt Lake Center. Continue as planned. Altimeter 29.902.
Alright, so when we get this thing, we'll switch on to heading hold mode, and it should turn us towards 044. And then once we're pointed away from 044, it's actually a 7 nautical mile hold, not a 1 minute hold, so we actually don't need the timer.
8 Lima Echo, you are 13 miles northeast of Kilo Foxtrot Bravo Romeo.
Okay, thank you. I guess that was my clearance.
Beechcraft 8 Lima Echo. Landmark 5337, you are 400 feet.
What was that?
Assigned altitude. Descend and maintain flight level 340.
Alright, and that's our cue to hit heading hold. And it reset my
Descend and
heading.
maintain flight level 340, landmark 5337.
Alright, we are entering our hold. There we go. Okay, so this is our cue to switch to traffic on 1228.
Romeo traffic Beechcraft November. Golf 58 Lima.
All right, so
Echo
as we
12
level
miles,
out, look at
northeast
the
eastbound RNAV runway
DME.
22.
So we are at 13. We are at 13.4. So when we get to 20.4, that's when we turn back around. All right, so we're going to set up 8,700 was the next altitude on that. Nope. Oh, wrong one. There we go. 8,700. So right now we are on this leg of the trip, and we're going to turn around to 7 nautical miles. We're going to turn back around onto the approach course. Then we'll start configuring ourselves for landing. Because, yeah, we don't have any glide slope info yet, which is concerning. And the sun's beginning to go down, which is less concerning, but still a thing to take note of. Alright, so in order to turn back onto the GPS course, we are simply going to tap the nav button, and it should just make a right turn directly onto the course, I think. Let's just do that now. There we go. Perfect. Alright, so announce on final is going to be number 3. Slightly overshot the course, that's fine, the plane will correct. Actually, I want to double check one thing real quick. It is 5.9 nautical miles from Sing to Lasare. So, because we don't have Sing as our waypoint now, so when we see 5.9 miles on that is when we need to start descending to 8,700 if we don't have glide slope info. Alright, let's start backing off on the throttle. Actually, first we are going to put our propeller back up to full, then begin backing off the throttle. I'm going to turn on our strobe light and gear down. Three green. And 1 notch of flaps. I don't see the airport yet. Do another notch of flaps. Jeez, plane's getting real close to stalling there. We are at full throttle right now, so let's actually bring that notch of flaps back and throttle down. I don't want to come in at over 100. Alright. Fuel good, undercarriage locked, mixture good, propeller good, flaps good, lights good, and seatbelt obviously good. I think I remembered all the parts of that acronym. Alright, so we are going to arm vertical speed mode. And begin descent. Slightly greater than what we're supposed to. We need that glide slope. Oh, I think I see lights. Okay, yeah, we see the airport now. Way out there. Coming in, just keep it right at 100. Glide slope info would be fantastic anytime now. See, the diamond is like super way far below us, indicating that we are above the glide slope, which makes no sense. Oh, we're getting glide slope coming up now. That's encouraging. All right, and we're going to tap the approach hold. And we should get the glide slope in a moment here. I hope. Please get the glide slope. Still nothing. Still nothing. Glide slope's now above us. And dropping as we approach Lysair. Got the glide slope. Alright, cool. We are following it in. Minimum 7,300. Throttle back a little bit more. Alright, so Lysair was the final approach fix, which is where we finally grabbed the glide slope on this approach. So that's good to know. So this is the first time I've ever actually gotten a successful glide slope capture on a GPS approach in this game. That's good. So this will bring us down to 7,300 feet, and we get to make the call whether or not we are going to land, which is another 1,000 feet below us, which I'm pretty sure we're going to land. Pretty sure. We are covered in ice, but I'm pretty sure we can land. Interstate 80 way off to our left. Lovely rest area out there, the Lyman rest area, if you want to dig back through my old videos and find where we are. There's also a TA up here at the Fort Bridger. We're also really close to the Highway to Heaven, which is one of my more popular videos, which is a bit of road that appears to go up into the clouds on certain days. And apparently very popular as just like a interesting place in the world because of that optical illusion. Down that road where it intersects with I-80 is a truck stop that I never stopped at, but it looked like it had decent food. Coming up on our minimums. Minimums. Flaps to full. Disengaging autopilot. Whoop. And we are down. A little more crosswind than I was expecting there. Once I disengaged the autopilot and the plane stopped correcting for it on its own, that was surprising. I forgot to call final. Whoops.
Kilo Hotel Charlie Romeo traffic landmark 3638 taking off runway 22 west departure.
Alright. Swing the plane around. All the parking's at the other end of the runway. There are no taxiways at this airport. You just gotta go all the way back to the start of the runway and pull off. For that, I completely forgot to call final. I was so disappointed in myself. Where's my taxiway? Oh yeah, no, right at the end. Exactly where I thought it was. I was just thrown off. There's like dirt runways here, so that's what the other turnoffs are for. Ooh. Announce clear of the runway.
Kilo Foxtrot Bravo Romeo traffic Beechcraft November. Golf 5, 8 Lima Echo is clear of the runway.
Strobe light off, taxi lights on, landing lights off. Flaps retracted. And transponder to standby. And VFR. Alright, let's get ourselves a parking spot. Actually, whoop, no, real quick, we're just gonna... oh wait, he's got the sticks. That guy's got sticks. Okay, that's where we're parking then. Obviously, you park at the sticks. You know what? You guys are not guiding me into this spot properly. I'm just gonna mow you down with the propeller and get the plane turned around. Just gonna pop outside for a moment. Yeah, so I'm just gonna turn around and just pull forward onto this spot facing that way like you're supposed to. Yeah, I don't think that was the best parking job I did, but hey, we're close. Close enough for me. Alright, so let's set our parking brake. Excellent. We want some... nope, we want the floodlight. There we go. Taxi light off. Nav light off. Anti-icing off. Prop sync off. Our altimeter's already at 290.